They're men of skin with their got no hips. They're men of dicks with their opinions. And now let's start the show.
I just saw a clip from an old 2020 that, like, it's just weird to think about what was controversial back then, but there was an old 2020 that was Barbara Walters going like, this week, lesbians, are they just like us? Like, it was just, the topic was lesbians, and we're going to show some lesbians, and isn't that crazy?
That was so weird. The 90s must have been so regressive because, or maybe just recently deceased Norman Lear was really ahead of his time, I guess.
But also insanely popular. All of his shows he made were like number one.
Yeah, which is crazy because I was reading some article. I didn't really watch any. Obviously, it was all before my time.
I've seen reruns of some of them. I never saw All in the Family. I did see some Jeffersons.
Yeah, Jeffersons and Good Times used to be on TV in Detroit, I remember. Yeah. I did see those, but I never. All in the Family was like too old for me.
Yeah, they used to show it, and I was just like, it was that filmed on that weird like yellow film stock from the 70s that they filmed cheap TV shows on, and it just felt like, I can't sit through this.
Yeah, this is bad. The one, but I was reading some article about like all the best episode of each of his shows, and they were all just like pretty much topics that now, you would also be covering.
Yeah.
Like there was,
you couldn't.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Disney wouldn't let you basically.
Like Maude was famous for having an abortion episode. Like he made like a lot of episodes that like they played them on TV in the 70s, and then for the 80s and 90s they couldn't be played anymore, basically.
Yeah. I guess one of the early episodes of All in the Family, Edith wanted to give her cousin.
Just think about Edith.
Like, I guess somebody in the family died, and the daughter was a lesbian, and no, the daughter somehow she needed to give this lesbian's partner something, and her husband Archie Bunker wouldn't let her or something.
Oh,
and it was like dealing with that in 1976 or whatever, which is, I guess pretty impressive considering, like, when you watch movies of that era, they were, cruising.
Yeah, it is. It's just a strange thing because I always tend to think of things like things were really like Stone Age and simple, and then over time, year by year, we've got more and more accepting and progressive. But like, really, when you look at it, it's more like we get a little bit better and then like take a big nosedive and then go up again.
Take
and
10
down.
steps back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, suffice it to say, I am going to start sharing my prejudices on this podcast.
Yeah, we're bringing it back. And because you said this podcast, I'm saying, hey, welcome to Loose Lips. Oh, Nate's got a migraine. For your birthday, I should have given you the gift of not doing that.
Well, but
see,
no, this is kind of like the gifts of the Magi because it's Hanukkah.
Yeah.
And so I feel like for one of these 8 crazy days, I could actually give you the gift of saying that this is the Loose Lips podcast. And you are David.
Thank you.
And I am indeed myself, Nate.
Oh, he did it. That almost never happens. Crazy. Thank you, Maccabees, for making that happen.
The wax was it the wax? No, it was the oil.
The oil, yeah.
They didn't have wax back then.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess bees were around. Who knows?
Do you have like a pretty functional knowledge of Hanukkah? Like, do you know the backstory of it? I know it is like a...
I was told the story a bunch growing up, but I'll be honest, I don't... Like, here's what I remember of the story, and I know I'm missing huge chunks of it. And Julian told me there's like a deeper story too, but...
What?
Yeah, so I think the main story I think I was told as a kid was like there was a temple, and it was being sieged by a king, like a Jewish temple, and they were like trying to destroy it, I guess, and then... They were like, damn, we can only make it a night, stuck in this temple. And, like, they needed a candle, I don't know, fucking for light and cooking shit. And then, surprisingly, even though they had only stored 1 night's worth of oil, which doesn't seem like good forethinking, like good planning.
No,
like,
not smart.
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing?
But maybe it was just the beginning of the Jews being a plighted people.
Yeah.
They didn't know yet.
We're in a temple. Who's going to bust this up? But then they did. And then miraculously, we made 1 day's worth of oil last for 8. And I'm now realizing that like Jewish miracles aren't as good as Christian miracles, where it's like a Christian miracle is like Jesus turned water into wine, or he healed your leprosy.
Yeah, Lazarus rose from the
dead. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we made oil last. We were very efficient.
But you know what? You really went all out on the holiday, so that's good.
We spread it to 8 days.
8 days is pretty wild, and just the Jewish.
And I treat it like Lions football. Sometimes I forget about it.
Is it? We're still in it, right?
Friday's the last day.
Friday's the last day.
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's over by my birthday.
Yeah, like
I don't want to
should've-
share the limelight with the last
Dude,
day.
yeah, come on.
Thank you.
No way. Oh, so this Thursday's the game?
This Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, they moved it from Sunday to Saturday.
Why'd they? Oh, for the holidays? Or
Yeah, I think because after there's no college football, they start playing NFL games on Saturday. And so they moved this one for, probably just big ratings or whatever.
Okay. But yeah, and then the only other part of the Maccabee story that Julian told me was that I guess he was in Israel once, and someone told me that like the true history of the Maccabees was they were considered like an extremist radical cult, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, almost like terrorists.
Oh boy!
And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's
they were all drinking Coyote Silver. And
oh, dude! Can we get into what is that doc called again?
Love Has Won.
Love Has Won.
Yeah,
Love Has Won. One of the best cult docs in such a while.
It was really good. I was shocked considering, and I say this saying out loud, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah,
but it made me feel like they're just really running out of cults. Like it's scraping the bottom of the barrel.
But the bottom of the barrel's better when it comes to cults.
It was. Yeah, I think it was. It was a more interesting documentary, and the story was fucking bananas.
Yeah.
While also being like, can you qualify it as a cult if it's under 20 people?
Yeah.
Like,
who never really did much besides drive around and watch this woman kill herself.
It's a high recommend. HBO Max.
Robin Williams is a big part. It was like Robin Williams came and talked to her and gave her advice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we should it's not a spoiler thing because you can read it on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Amy is her name.
Amy, she was a McDonald's manager. I was still hazy, as good as I thought it was. And maybe it didn't really matter what changed in her life to make her want to do this. But she started reading like Twin Flames, like message boards.
Light Warriors or something?
Yeah, she was a light warrior or something.
Yeah. Basically, she worked at McDonald's, worked her way up to management. And I really feel like the skills that she was taught at McDonald's definitely came into play when she was running a cult. Like that lady ran a cult like it was a McDonald's.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She also it is maybe what makes this one so special is it is the only one I've ever seen where the cult members who are being interviewed still wholly buy in.
Yeah.
There's not a hint of skepticism.
Which is hard because it's a cult. It like kind of reminded me of like where a cult like Christianity or any religion would come from, like where it goes from being a cult to a religion, where like it was very much like she was their God. When she died, they thought that God had died, and they literally were trying to almost do their own gospels, where like they're like because they knew she's a God, they're writing down everything she does, but they're just these like brain fucked like cult people.
Yeah.
So it's just like 9:15, Amy sneezes. Like,
Amy didn't like her manicotti. God. Yeah, it's so fucking because I've seen a Heaven's Gate one where people that left the cult, still grapple with the idea that they didn't join and like, what if it was real or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've never seen one where they just so firmly are still 100% bought in.
But you know what, though? I think that's also partially that only a year has passed since she even died.
That's true.
And like you can see, it was pretty, I would say pretty funny that they all put their entire life savings and then also had like they were selling crystals and shit online. So they'd raised about I think like $300,000 in like in one fund that was all managed by this one weird dude. Like I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, Michael/Miguel.
Yeah. I'm sure his name is Miguel in the name. He's like, you're Michael.
Yeah, Michael, like the Archangel.
Like the movie with John Travolta. But he kind of like ran things the whole time, and they were just like writing down everything Amy did and like watching her drink colloidal silver mixed with vodka and turn slowly into a blueberry muffin. And yeah, it was just really funny because like it was such. I mean, she dies, and probably the darkest part of the movie, and also the only part that I've now watched twice because I watched it and then had to show it to Chris, is the part right when she dies, because I would say by far the darkest and most batshit part of the whole thing is the 11 days they spend with the body, where they spend 3 days in the hotel just like touching her foot with like an e-meter or something.
Oh, yeah, they keep going. There's electric charge in her foot.
Dude, the lady's full of silver. Like, of course it's going to fucking send your little thing haywire. But then they, like, the hotel people are closing in on them, so they, like, take her body and then dress it up in, like, a hat and sunglasses and throw it in the back of the car and then drive out into the woods where, of course, a police officer stops them and, like, shines a light bulb on this, like, blue corpse in a jacket, and they're like, oh yeah, that's just our friend sleeping back there, and it's Oregon, so there's like enough people who are constantly shroomed out, so they're just like, oh, okay, yeah, you got a Smurf back there, whatever. And then they go into the woods and they fucking sleep, just like the dude, Father God, just like sleeps next to the corpse for a couple days. And then they move across 5 separate state lines with the body, and finally they're like, I don't know what to do, and show up at that dude who has all the money's house, and then he just goes to the cops immediately and sucks all their money out, like takes all the money out of all their accounts and disappears.
It's so funny. Like, between that and then the fact that, like, it's an entire documentary about how this woman is God, and then they do all these testimonials where everybody still wholeheartedly believes it, but then they also were chronically online, and there's just so much footage of her just completely wasted or hopped up on colloidal silver being like, where's my dressing? My salad's dry. Like, just like, there's nothing... I don't want to say godly. I don't know what compelled all these people to trust or care about her. And maybe it was just good editing for laughs, but shitty editing in terms of displaying her raw power or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think she did anything in the entire show that wasn't just being kind of wasted or saying like, hey, the energies are looking good.
Yeah. I guess you never saw her give like a charismatic speech.
There was nothing charismatic about her. She would just like invite new people in, and then.
But clearly she was, because like this lady, she had the riz that Hutchison didn't have this week.
Exactly.
Because okay, this is a pretty baller move. She's seeing one dude, and she's like, yeah, like, because you're fucking me, you're Father God. But then another guy shows up who she likes more, so she's like, I guess he's Father God, you're Father Multiverse. And then that guy just has to sit there and be like, okay.
Well, and then
I'll go take a seat in the cuck chair.
And he still believes in it so much, and he loves being cucked, for sure. He still believes in it so much that he ends up living with the guy who replaced him. Yeah. After she dies, they go out and make like a buddy comedy together. Yeah, that was a big watch. I really enjoyed it. It's a high recommend.
Yeah.
It's also...
We kind of spoiled the ending, but this is one of those things where telling you all the facts are publicly known, and like us telling you it has nothing on you watching this insanity.
Right. I mean, we can say, oh yeah, she turns blue.
Yeah.
But when you watch her turning blue, it's short enough where it's not a hassle to watch, but it's long enough where you feel a little lived in it.
Yeah.
So when she's actually turning blue,
it's insane.
What the fuck is wrong? It was like the loving cult, and Grant, I'm being like Christian puritanical about it a little bit, but like the whole premise was it was this loving cult, and she had love has won was what they called it, and she had brought God to earth and all this stuff. But every time you saw footage of their morning broadcast, it was like, yeah, well, there's haters online, so fuck you all. You can eat 75 dicks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, I can see why their cult never like really expanded beyond 20.
20.
The autopsy report for the mummified cult leader found in April may shed new light onto why charges were dropped for her followers.
Saguache County Sheriff's deputies made a startling discovery back in April. They found the remains of 45-year-old Amy Stroud, dead for weeks. In these images, her body is wrapped in blankets and Christmas lights. We've blurred her face. It had turned blue from a silver treatment she was ingesting.
I'm in like a movie. I don't know if I always get this way around the end of the year. Like I'm trying to put my birthday mix together. I don't make a movies of the year top 10 list like I did when I was younger. I was one of those nerds who made like, this is my top 10. No offense if you do that. Once I started working in the film industry, I've realized what a futile idea it is because there's just so many movies you don't see every year. So I can make a list of the 10 best movies of the 80 to this year. I've actually seen way too many movies.
Yeah, I would trust your list because I feel like you would see more.
But even so, like this year, I hadn't seen because I don't work in foreign language film anymore. I've probably seen like 10 subtitled movies.
Yeah, I guess like there's not many theaters that even show them though.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't show them at Look Cinemas, so I'm not going. You know,
dude. Though I am this week.
Are
Actually,
you going?
Have you seen Godzilla yet?
No, I haven't seen Godzilla.
Would you be
yet.
down sometime this week?
No, but
you
yes,
got a lot of work.
I'm working like crazy, but I would be down next week or over the weekend.
I'm probably going to see it before that.
Okay,
but I would also. You've already seen Maestro.
Oh, I've seen the Maestro.
Yeah, I'm like you. I was never like a list person, but I was very obsessive about like around December. I had to see all of the movies that were going to be nominated at least for the Academy Awards, even though they have a fucking terrible taste. I did want to see basically all of the big talked about movies, and I would kind of go on like a watching spree in December and watch a million movies. And you gave me the card to Look Cinema, and I think I'm watching Maestro. I'm watching Godzilla.
Get with it, dude. Yeah, Godzilla. I want to see. I don't think I'll be able to this week, but and then I really want to see Poor Things.
Oh, I didn't even know that
one.
That's
the Yorgos Lanthimos.
Oh
one.
shit! Yes, I
supposedly his best movie since Dogtooth.
Okay, I really liked the one. What was it called? Like
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
No, the one with like it was like
Lobster.
Nope. She's like
Favorite.
I like The Favorite.
Yeah, I did too. I've liked all of his movies. Yeah. I've been pretty into all of them. But this one also I read I read an interview. I read the headline of an interview where he claims that his biggest inspiration for this movie was 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, that makes me want to see it.
So it made me want to see it even more. Yeah,
I love that movie. But yeah, I'm going on a watching spree. Yeah, you saw the Maestro without spoiling. Can you tell us anything about it?
I'll set the stage. Stark black and white. The phone rings. Bradley Cooper, wearing a fake Jewish nose, rolls over and answers the phone. He's cosplaying as Jewish, and as it turns out, he gets good news on the phone and reveals
good
that
Yontif.
Good Yontif. And he rolls back over and reveals he's also cosplaying as gay. And he pulls the sheet down and to reveal a naked man laying on his bed. And he gets up and starts jazz handing, jumping on the bed before playing bongos on this boy's butt. And that's how the movie opens.
Hell yeah.
The Maestro is...
Any peeing?
No, of course. Also, I mean... Bradley Cooper like clearly wants so badly to be gay and to play gay in this movie, and
like every straight actor now.
Yeah, wants to live in the queer space for sure. Except for he also won't even really kiss on screen.
He has Timothy Chalamet disease.
Yes, he's totally Chalamet.
I'm actually pissed off on behalf of gay people at Timothy Chalamet. Like, what is the point of sitting there and being like a cock tease and being like, oh, gay people, you want to be turned on by this little twink, but I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to kiss.
Yeah, I will make them digitally remove my penis.
Yeah, shit or get off the pot.
Dude, I know. It's ridiculous. And Coop does it in this one. But I think with Bradley Cooper, I go both directions on him. The yin and yang of him is perfect for me. He's so self-serious and so annoying that I laugh at him, but I don't hate him.
Yeah.
I actually do think he's a good actor.
Yeah.
And he's really good in this movie.
Okay.
Even though he's just doing the most annoying, like, oh, babe, Jay, baby. He's like almost doing like a Sammy Davis Jr. Like, oh, darling, it's wonderful, darling. Darling, I need to look at you. Darling, let me see your hands, darling, please. And he just does that, and it's awesome.
Dude.
And it sucks also.
Yeah. How long is it?
It's long. It's 2 hours 20.
Okay. I would just think like now, anytime someone decided they made a serious movie, they're like, it has to be 3 hours.
It's pretty much, it is, because even Poor Things, yesterday was the day after my 40th birthday, and I took the day off work, and I didn't go so crazy that I couldn't like do anything. I had to stay in bed all day, but I didn't feel great. But I wanted to go see Poor Things yesterday, and it turns out it was 2 hours. It's only playing at AMC theaters, and it's 2 hours 30 minutes, which then you add on the AMC 30. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't do
That fucking AMC 30 is a killer every time.
It sucks because Brian Country Death is begged basically that I leave my allegiance to Look Cinemas and start going to AMC theaters. But it's the AMC 30. I just don't know if I can do 30 minutes of trailers every single time I see a movie.
It's so funny that it's 30 now because I worked at an AMC in high school, and it was called they call it the 20, and I had a manager who was like, he really believed it. He really fucking drank the Kool-Aid, and he was like, no, we got to clean these theaters because people like to get there early. People don't want to miss the 20. Like, are you kidding me?
No, it's funny too because I'm such a stickler for seeing the entire movie.
Yeah.
That I will get there for the full 20 or 30 or whatever it is, just because I don't want to one time miss the beginning because they didn't put it on that movie. Even though they put it on every one. Without fail, it's like a corporate strategy.
Yeah. I want to see the whole movie, but I'm not one of those film buffs who's to the point where you have to sit quietly during the entire credits. I'm basically, as soon as the movie's over, I stand up to go, basically. But I know people, it's like, we're going to sit here and wait for the fucking key grip to come up.
Dude, I got to tell you, I saw a movie. This is a movie without a stinger. Even there's nothing after the credits. Hitler doesn't come back. But Zone of Interest is so... I highly recommend if you see Zone of Interest, stay through the entire credits.
Okay.
Just because it's like the music is so good and it ends in such a chilling way that it actually... you'll love the music.
Okay.
I was trying to find it online anywhere because it sounds like if Scott Walker, like whatever Scott Walker is in hell right now listening to, it's what this music sounds like.
Whoa.
It's nasty.
Wait, so what is that movie? Zone of Interest?
Zone of Interest is the new movie from Jonathan Glazer, who made Sexy Beast and Under the Skin.
Yeah.
And it takes place in the Holocaust, but it is about like a German functionary who lives across the street from Auschwitz.
Interesting.
And so it's basically like a chamber domestic drama taking place during the Holocaust with the backdrop, like literally the backdrop of Auschwitz. Like,
the original name was Auschwitz Next Door.
Yes. Yes. Auschwitz. Me and Uncle Himmler. Tuesdays with Himmler.
I think we'd hit the bathroom real quick.
Okay. I'm here by myself now. Nate and David are. I was trying to do like the ghost of Elvis there, but it didn't really work. But I did see, David, when you listened to this, I also saw Priscilla, which, I think we talked about this actually, but I'll tell I'll do my movie run through because I have been catching up on a lot of movies at the end of the year here. Folks, if you have not seen Priscilla, it is not a great movie, but it's 100% worth it to just see this. The guy who plays Elvis looks nothing like him and sounds nothing like him. So he just kind of does this weird mumbling thing, but they do actually do a really good job of making Elvis seem like a super creep. And so that was kind of fun. And he's always just like, but my baby girl, that's not your color. You got to dress more in pinks and purples, baby. Oh, look at this.
Cookie Town sounds like a mid-90s funk rock band that like briefly toured with Living Colour.
Oh, man. What? Something I was trying to think about. Ooh, these are good. Folks, I'm having these ginger. They're like ginger Oreos or something.
Oh, I thought you got those at your party. They were at your party is how even.
I think former guest of the podcast, Charlie,
Oh.
brought these actually.
But yeah, do you have the topics from the...
Oh, whoops. I was talking to the listener.
And whatever Nate said, we're going to be like the parents to the listeners right now. Listen, I don't even know what Nate said, but you need to respect it, okay?
Let's see here. We got a few topics.
Did you ever do that when you were a kid? Like one parent would tell you something and you just like go and ask another parent and look for a different answer?
I was such a goody-goody to my parents.
Oh, really?
Also, they were... I shouldn't be eating on mic. I don't know. I mean, you and I both had pretty lax parents, I think. Mm-hmm.
See, my mom was a little bit more strict than my dad, so I'd usually be like... Also, like, my dad just worked long hours, so like
Right.
he didn't even know what was going on or the context of what I was talking about sometimes. So like I'd tell my mom and she'd be like, "No, you can't do that." And then my dad would be like, "I guess I don't know what you're fucking talking about."
Yeah, that was my dad. Until I got much older, my dad worked so much that he worked like 3 jobs. So there was never, he had no clue. But my mom was really lax. It wasn't until my brother got old enough to start fucking up that that was when I had more rules.
Yeah.
Because my brother created a scenario where we needed more rules.
I had the experience where I had like barely any rules, and then I like moved out, and then I briefly had to move back in when I was like 19, and then all of a sudden I had more rules than I did before.
Oh, really? See, so that kind of happened to me too, where my mom, I guess it was only really the rule that I had to call them and tell them when I was coming home. And
That was it.
And it wasn't a hard curfew, but it does kind of almost act as a curfew.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I think I'd rather go home than tell you I'm out.
Well, I would like, it would just be even just enough of like, oh, I'm going to be going out tonight. Okay, when do you think you're going to come back? I don't fucking know. What are you doing? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going out as an adult.
Yeah.
The same way you go out as an adult. No, I can't. I cannot get with that at all. That's one of the things I'm very nervous about traveling back to my folks' house for the holidays in a couple weeks because I'm bringing my partner with me.
I think that goes into a topic.
Oh, does it really?
From Jeff. I think the topic was, what is, at Jeff from Patreon gave us, what is the very longest you could stay with your family for the holidays?
Oh, so this is interesting because I know I'm actually an outlier here.
You go long.
Most people have like a 4-day rule or a 5-day rule. But for me, the way I look at it is, I have 2 feelings about it. One is our David and I's former business partner years ago when he moved to LA before either David or I did, he came back to Detroit to visit, and he didn't hang out with me. And I was like, damn, dude, what the hell is going on? And he had like a really old parent, and he was like, yeah, well, I just kind of realized that I'm basically only going to do this once every couple of years, so I only have about 8 times to hang out with my dad.
Yeah.
And it like really stuck with me in a way where I do prioritize seeing my family. I also get along really well with my family. So
See, for me, I find my family fun. I like seeing them, but stressful. And I, in a weird way, almost need to spend more time, because when you have divorced parents, I have the added problem that they're now fighting over my time and like constantly trying to schedule things, and then I tell them that the other parent already scheduled something at that time, and then they like try to like crowbar their way into that time.
yeah.
And I think if I was longer and I had more days to offer, it wouldn't be such a fucking nightmare. But it was actually really stressing me out that both of them just kept asking me. And my mom is usually pretty flexible and like, it's like, well, okay, we'll figure it out when we can. But my dad thinks he's being flexible, but he's actually making things complicated in a way that is not helping.
Really?
Where like his whole thing is he acts like in his head this is helpful, but right when you're at the point when like a lot of plans have been thrown out in the air and now we need to start culling plans and figuring out what we're going to actually do, that's right when we're like almost down to like settled on a plan. That's when my dad feels like it's best to introduce 3 other alternatives. It's called an engineer K-Pax.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just like he thinks he's being helpful. He's like, okay, but we were just talking about this. Actually, what if we did something entirely different that no one agreed to? In fact, the most insane one ever was the last day I was in Detroit last time. Me and Petra were upstairs. My dad came up. He's like, okay, so I think for the day I want to go to this place, X, Y, and Z. And we're like, okay, we're going to get dressed. We'll meet you downstairs. We'll get in the car and we'll head down there. Literally in the time it took to get dressed and head downstairs, my dad was sitting on the couch and he's like, change of plans.
That's, oh my God. See, so this time my mom is like that, but my mom is also like, I mean, I think this is a stereotype for Jewish mothers. My mom's not Jewish. She's Italian, which I believe
very
is
similar.
also, similar for Italian mothers, where it's just the guilt. I mean, the guilt of everything. I'm so grateful my parents didn't get divorced, not because it wouldn't make their life better, probably, but it's just I couldn't imagine the two of them guilting me. And I fall prey to it too. I'm not as strong-willed to just be like, fuck off or whatever.
Yeah.
My mom, we were buying the tickets this time, and Luce said specifically, I only want to go for 4 days. So for her, actually, to answer the question, for her, it's a 4-day number.
At least she knows the number.
She knows the number. She only want to go for 4 days.
You usually go like 14 days.
I go long. Yeah. When I visit, I go at least 10 days.
Yeah.
Because then for me, I'm like, I don't want to get on a plane for less than 10 days.
Yeah.
It also used to be the fact that I worked at a company that shut down over the holiday break. And so it just was... It was a free vacation, basically, and I wouldn't have to use my actual vacation to visit my family.
Yeah. And you can save a little money because they're paying for food.
And they're paying for food and blah, blah, blah. And, whatever. Christmas is important to them. But we were buying the tickets, and we had to fly on the 22nd because that was, or the 21st, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, it was the 22nd because that was the only ticket we could afford. But we were supposed to leave the 26th, and I was like, I had to say, like, we have to stay 5 days. I'm sorry. If we go and we are leaving on the 26th, it'll ruin the entire trip because I can hear my mom being like, well, I'd love to do, but we just don't have any time because you guys are leaving the day after Christmas. Well, I wish Christmas wasn't so busy because we can't do anything because
you were there 10 days.
I know. We can't do anything because you're leaving the day after Christmas. So I don't even know if it's as much about the amount of time. It's about creating time within the time.
It's true, but I feel like no matter how long you stayed there, your mom would come up with some reason why the day that you're leaving is not a good day to leave.
Yes. Oh, no. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've done this now. I've lived in LA 10 years, so I've done this 10 times now, and it is the exact same thing every year, from offering to pay like I brought up before to You're leaving too soon. Oh, I just wish you would. Why didn't you stay for New Year's? Because I don't want to sit in your living room on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God.
It's cold there. I want to be back.
I've seen everybody I knew from high school already.
I know. Well, and that's the weird part, too, is, 10 years does make a difference. And actually, I will say the last probably
10 years is also 30 years in Midwestern years where, like, everybody's getting married when they're 18.
Right. Yeah. I would say that I feel much more disconnected from Detroit than I have. It's finally started to be like, oh, I don't have as many friends here, or like things are way different, or whatever. And it's actually coincided with me reconnecting with certain people, and so having enjoyed that relationship flourishing again, while also just feeling like, wow, I just don't know anybody here anymore.
Yeah, it's also even weird when you're like, hey, you want to go to this bar we used to all hang out at? No, that doesn't exist anymore. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, let's go to that restaurant we all used to go to. Oh, that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I recently, it doesn't matter. I mean, no one listening to this would know what we're talking about. But when the Cass Cafe closed, it was that thing. It was like closing Central Perk on Friends, okay?
Yeah.
It's like when Gunter died. Like, it's fucking nuts, man. It was like the spot when I was in college.
Yeah.
Like, it was right down the street from my house and college, so.
Yeah. Yeah, really strange. It just felt like it would never go away.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and you figure if it can last that it really goes to show just how difficult the pandemic was on restaurants, I guess, because even if you survived the pandemic, you did on such a shoestring that any trip up now, 2 years later, you're still like, okay, I guess we're done.
Yeah, it's especially hard when you have a staff of people who are like constantly high and like just making enough tip money to play in a garage rock band.
Right.
Oh, you know what we need to talk about before we pull another topic? We need to do another round of just asking questions.
Just asking questions.
This shit just got way deeper, way more fucked up.
Yes.
I mean, last time, if you listened to the last podcast, we connected the dots between Rosalind Carter.
Possibly faking a death, possibly being involved with Epstein, possibly, the FBI cabal.
Kissinger, 100% part of it. But now it's just gotten even deeper where there's all these mysterious deaths, just a lot of question marks. I don't see answers. I'm still piecing together what the pattern is.
Right.
We could chalk it all up to the fentanyl, the opioid crisis, but we lost Armin Lear too.
Yeah.
Lost. If he is actually dead, where's the body?
Well, first of all,
where's the body?
Yeah, I haven't seen the body for Lear or Kissinger at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting word that Andre Brower died.
This is insane.
And so the thing that's scaring me at this point is, at first, it was clear it was a hit, right? It was clear it was a hit.
No doubt.
But then they kept claiming natural causes, Rosalind Carter, natural causes. I think it's
natural causes.
Right.
My left
Something
foot.
is not really making sense to me, though, when every centenarian is dying within weeks of one another.
This is insane. You sent me a few too.
There's nothing natural.
Look at this. Shirley Ann Field, actress from The Entertainer and Alfie and Saturday Night and Sunday Morning. Life snuffed out so early.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
what does she know?
Right. Well, that's what.
What did you know, Ann Field?
It makes you start to question what is going. How tied is Hollywood to the government?
Think about this. As high up as you can go, a United Artists executive, Walter Boxer, gone. Again, no body.
It's so
just asking questions.
Exactly, because and just to illustrate, we were talking about that cult documentary. What's the one thing we saw right off the top? The body.
Yeah.
You know the person's dead. You saw the body.
I believe that she's dead.
Henry Kissinger, no body.
Nope.
Andre Brower, no body.
Yeah.
We haven't seen, and they get younger and younger. We started at centenarians, and that to me was fishy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
3 100-year-old people die within a week?
What the hell is happening?
That seems weird, right?
Coincidence? Like, first off, think about this. Statistically, there's no chance that would happen when you think there's very few people who are even centenarians in the first place. So all of a sudden, 3 of them
You're
die
going to snuff
all at once.
3 high-profile.
Just a coincidence.
Yeah, just a coincidence. What? They're all drinking the same water?
Yeah.
That's funny, first of all, because, yes, they all live in cities.
Yeah. Think about this. If you live to 101, you have to be pretty fucking healthy, right?
Right.
You have to have, taken care of yourself.
Right. And
so why are all of a sudden these healthy people being killed?
And it's hard to say. I mean, is the water, maybe the water's fluorinated, but doesn't, it does make you wonder.
It makes you really wonder. These people are all drinking fluoride.
And then since then, I'm looking, these are even healthier, younger, 80, 79, 80, 82.
Yeah.
These are people in the prime of their life.
And yet, here they are. The Star Whackers are taking them out.
Well, that's what makes me, because they did all live in the U.S., too. None of them had left for Canada.
I wonder, some part of me has hope that what actually is happening is they recognize the cabal that is controlling things, and they just got out.
Well, what did Kissinger know? He had to have known something.
Yeah.
This guy was really high up in government. He was pretty connected. So he clearly knew something. That's why they had to snuff him out.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Rosalind Carter goes, then Kissinger goes.
Yeah.
And he was a man about Hollywood in the 70s. He dated Shirley MacLaine.
Probably Rosalind Carter.
Yeah. You know who probably knew both of them? Norman Lear.
Oh,
and
shit.
he had the TV connection. He still talked to Jimmy Kimmel. He might have been...
Jimmy Kimmel, you look in his face, those are the eyes of a killer.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm wondering. Was he about to go on Kimmel and expose the whole thing?
Oh, shit.
And do you think Kimmel snuffed him out?
I think that's
basically
what makes the long game is that he was going to go on Kimmel and expose this whole
and
network.
Give Kimmel the scoop.
But he didn't know that Kimmel was actually their hitman.
Right. He was... Yes. He was a double agent.
And that's what happened. Oh, my God. So Norman Lear goes to Jimmy Kimmel thinking he's going to expose them. Turns out Jimmy Kimmel just got you fucking killed, Norman Lear.
Right, yes, because he's friends with Zelensky.
And then because Kissinger knew about it, he just took a suicide pill. He did A Few Good Men where he put on his full naval suit and killed himself in a thunderstorm.
Oh, my God. Am I right? I have never seen A Few Good Men.
Oh, my God, dude. That used to play on TV a lot.
I've seen that scene because we made fun of it one time.
It's Tom Cruise at his most cruise. He's on cruise control. He's just like, I am going to talk really fast and hard at you. And Kevin Pollak's in it, not doing his Christopher Walken impersonation.
Really?
Sadly, yeah.
Really? Oh,
Murderer of Jeremy.
Yeah, murderer.
I can see why you boycotted this movie for so long.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. If I hadn't seen it before he killed one of my great friends,
yeah.
I don't...
Now it's too late.
Yeah, no, I'm glad, David, you asked these questions because it had been stirring. I haven't been able to sleep since Norman Lear died.
I don't know who's next. I really don't know.
Well, it makes you what? I mean, really, honestly.
Yeah. Are any of the Golden Girls
Cicely
still around?
Tyson? I'm trying to remember who else is alive.
Oh, you know who's fucking got a target on their back right now? Protect at all costs. Mel Brooks, still alive.
Right, yes. And I believe, what is that woman's name? I was trying to Google really fast.
Well, I'm sure, too, fucking Mel Brooks knows the truth about what happened
Olivia
to him.
de Havilland is dead.
Oh, shit.
I thought they got her.
Oh.
She was the first one.
What did she fucking know?
This makes me really... David.
Okay, so when did this whole thing start?
Oh, my God. I might have just broken the whole case here.
Okay.
David, I looked up Hollywood actor, 100 years old. You're not going to believe this.
Oh, shit.
This has been happening since the 2000s.
What the hell?
2003, Bob Hope. 2021, Norman Lloyd. 2010, Gloria Stewart. David, it goes all the way back to 1996.
Shit.
George Burns.
The signs were all there. We just weren't looking.
Where
we go one, we go all.
2018, Patricia Morrison, 103. Nehemiah Persoff. Oh, my God.
You know what it is? I think what's happening is when you get to a certain age in the industry, you've just acquired so much dirt, so much info, you got to go.
They have to take you out. And I didn't think it went so high up. But now that I'm looking at it, this is a governmental agency.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it's definitely Star Whackers, but 100%. I think that Star Whackers might be affiliated. Because
I think Star Whackers are hiring Robotoids and Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes.
I think Jimmy Kimmel and Jalen Rose together. I mean,
Jalen Rose is in on it, and he's from my city.
Yeah, we fucking come from a Robotoid city. It's sad.
Damn, he's from our city, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is fucked up. This is going to be an ongoing segment because right now all we have is questions. We don't have answers. But if you, the listener, find like another piece of the puzzle, find another connection, please let us know. We could really stand to. We want to crack this case.
We got to crack it. We got to crack it.
Now they got fucking Norman Lear.
I really do enjoy this time of the year, and but I just remember that next year's election year.
Yeah,
it just stinks. I'm not ready for it.
Yeah, I'm. Especially because it is going to be Trump. I mean, we got to deal with more of that fucking guy's face.
Yeah, even if he
and
doesn't,
Biden,
even if neither of them win, it's still just another year of. I mean, the Trump thing specifically to me is just like it's another year where we have to hear his name and talk. I mean, I'm not going to talk about it, but
I really feel like we should just skip him on the podcast this time.
Yes.
Like, let's just, I don't really give a shit what he does. We're just not even going to fucking mention him.
Yeah, I think.
We're not even going to call him 45.
Yeah, we won't even call him Trump. We won't even. Well, no, we will call him Trump.
Yeah, I'm going to call him Voldemort, baby.
Yeah.
Dude. If I call him anything, it's a fucking Cheeto. But yeah, it's like, I really feel like, in fact, the media is like psyched as hell because they're like, dude, Trump did such big numbers last time. And now it just feels like, 2024 election feels like Marvel Studios trying to launch phase 2 where they're like, this fuking killed last time. People were super into it. We didn't really think up a new story this time. He's going to be saying the same
Trump's
shit.
going to the quantum realm.
Yeah.
He's going to hang out with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, fuck this. I don't care. He's saying that, like, it was, in 2016, it was kind of funny to hear him say build the wall. He's still on build the walls. Nothing's changed.
Yeah. It's all the same old. Like, it does, I think you really pinpointed it. It does feel like a pretty average sequel. Like, it's just not. I don't think it's going to play the same way. They're also both like octogenarians, which they should start looking out now.
Dude, yeah.
Because we don't know what's going to happen.
They're the only old people left. That's what they wanted.
I didn't think about That's probably what happened is Joe Biden doesn't want Norman Lear or Henry Kissinger running against him.
Yeah.
And that's why he had them killed.
Yeah. And like, because like to them, you always got to respect your elders, and they don't want to have anybody telling them what to do or anybody to respect, so they're just wiping them away.
That's probably it. Yeah, Olivia de Havilland probably had a phone line direct to the White House.
Well, I'm sure, like in his college dorm, he had Olivia de Havilland in the poster.
Me and Corn Pop had posters of Olivia de Havilland.
Okay, back when I was cranking it to Betty Davis.
I got those soft blonde hairs. That's how I got caught.
Oh man, who used to really do it for me was Garbo.
I put a sock and garter on the door whenever there was a new Garbo movie coming out. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that election's gonna fucking suck.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long year. I'm not looking forward to this one at all. I'm starting to realize I don't know why I thought there would be a new somebody on the left. Yeah. But there just isn't gonna be, and it's
no.
I'm like, and I was like, not even like thinking like, oh, we need like a real leftist. Like, no, I was
Just
thinking
somebody
like
who beat Trump.
I was thinking like Gavin Newsom. Like I was thinking of like a centrist person who's not 100 years old. That's all I was thinking.
It's really funny, too, because you can tell Biden doesn't want to do it either. Like, I don't know if you saw, but there was a video of someone asking him, they're like, Biden, do you think you're the only person who could beat Trump? And he's like, no, I think a lot of different people could do it. And then they're like, so do you feel like you have to run? And he's like, no, I mean, I guess I do because of Trump. Like, he just seemed like so resigned to it.
Recently I saw, and I'm not the one asking questions about this. Somebody else is asking questions, but I think questions
Hassan?
need to be. Yes.
Hassan Piker?
Hassan Piker is asking questions, and I think questions need to be asked. Joe Biden has stirrup marks on his cheeks now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he might be doing ball gag stuff.
Dude, that rules.
Yeah, so he might be our president after all.
Dude, that is the coolest thing I've ever heard him doing.
That and when he fell off his bike.
Oh, yeah.
The only times Joe Biden's been cool
Yeah.
is when he's doing ball gag stuff and when he fell off his
And he
bike.
has a little bit of runoff cool from Hunter, which he's getting now impeached about.
Yeah.
That his son did some shit.
That is very strange to me. Like that. Like I don't know. I mean the Hunter Biden stuff. Hunter Biden's fucking cool.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Grand Theft Auto. He's
Dude.
sick.
Yeah.
They're really. I don't even understand what you would be mad at. What you would impeach him about.
I'm trying to. I think they said that Joe. I don't fucking know. Gave him some money for something. Of course, he's a rich kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, he got a nepotism job with Ukraine or something. I think.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know we're almost at time, but there was that story I wanted to tell you from that party we went to. Me and Nate went to a party the other day, a holiday party, a tree trimming party.
Yeah, like a really classy party.
It started that way when you were there. That's how it was. From our friend Megs, and you were there during the day. It was like literally the kind of party where they have like brie and Gouda.
Yes,
and like,
very hors d'oeuvre centric.
Yeah.
It was classy forward, like adult forward party.
Oh yeah, like very well dressed gays.
Yeah, well dressed gays, wine,
Yeah.
sweaters in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
2 bathrooms.
So you left to go to the party that I wasn't invited to, but I wound up going to, or I stayed there, and I think had an even crazier time because all the classy people left right around when you did, and then like her more hardcore friends hung out, and that's when the vibe shifted really quickly. Like we all moved outside, and then I felt myself getting like a little bit into the realm of drunk, and Petra was getting drunk, and then she has some neighbors who just come over sometimes for parties who I know for a fact are 58 years old because I got way too much information from them in this night. And it was a weird thing where like I saw Petra was talking to the wife for a long time, so I thought like, oh, she's cool and like real big Housewives of Beverly Hills type vibes. And then like the husband is just like, literally, he's talking to us like we're around a bonfire pit. We're like trying to light the fire, and he's like for 1 hour was explaining to us best practices for lighting up fire, and was like, there's multiple different schools of thought on lighting a fire.
God!
And like giving us all this shit, and then while he's getting more drunk, he's getting calls from, it says like son on it, and he's hitting mute so that he can keep talking to us. And then she was like stood up and started to get like kind of swivelly, and she was like, I'm gonna get some more wine. Can you help me? And she like pointed to me. She's like, "You're David. I've met your girlfriend. David, can you help me get some wine from the kitchen?" And then like I follow her into the kitchen, and she's like trying to like maneuver through the refrigerator, but she can't like see straight basically. And then her husband walks in, and he's drunk too, and he's like, "You can't drink anymore." And she's like, "I can drink it. Here's some more red wine." He's like, "We got it." And he's like trying to like pour her a small thing of champagne, and she's like, "Why would you don't control what I drink?" They're like 60. They're talking like two drunken teenagers. And then she's like, there's no more red wine. You know what? I'm just going to drive up to the store. Dave, you want to go to the liquor store? And I'm like, no. I don't want to get in a car with you and die right now. And then he's like, no, you shouldn't drive. You shouldn't drive. And then we all come back. I like a sneak back into like the outside so I can be away from them, leave them in the kitchen. They both wander out. Then they're like both kind of talking to each other, talking to different parts of the party. And then like he's talking about like, we've been married for 30 years. And then she's like whispering in Petra's ear, like, I have boyfriends.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then she's like talking about like just like LA in the 90s. Like they grew up in Santa Monica. They've been here their whole life. The dude is talking nonstop about how he's like, listen, I was 18 in 1982. You best believe that I wanted to do it with Belinda Carlisle. That was the sexiest woman who has ever lived. You best believe I was a red-blooded American male. Belinda Carlisle did it. He just was like talking about how horny Belinda Carlisle made him for like half an hour. And then at a certain point, our friend Georgia is like trying to tell a story and we're all listening. And she's like a really good storyteller. So we're like very like rapt at like listening to her story. But then all of a sudden in the music, it's just like a playlist playing and it plays Malibu by Hole. And all of a sudden the woman stands up and just starts to like sexy dance directly in front of Georgia. And everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? But then the guy felt like his lady was getting sexy. So he had to join in. So he kind of stood up and almost like Pulp Fiction danced. And they're like on either side of this bonfire, like kind of dancing at each other.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it got fucking out of control.
That's so insane. And they were the oldest people there by 20 years.
Yes, yeah. But it was kind of funny too because there was a couple of like Gen X people. Like I guess these are like elder Gen X because they're not quite baby boomer. Like I think of baby boomer as like you were in high school in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
They were in high school in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I guess oldest Gen X. But
yeah,
then
probably oldest Gen X.
I saw like, dude, the most Gen X of Gen X guys was also at this party. He literally is from Seattle. Like, that is where Gen X was born.
He is Patient X.
Yeah. And I did realize that, like, Gen X people just have, like, a ability to be shitty and sarcastic in a way that no other generation does. Where, like, I saw him giving the dude a hard time in a way where, like, damn, he's going in.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what they were great for, actually. They are still all just rolling their eyes.
Yeah. But yeah, that party got out of control. Eventually, they finally wandered off, and like, man, it made me really happy I don't have parents like that, because they were telling us they had 2 kids who were in college, and I was like, damn, dude. Like, imagine if your parents, like my parents, they were cool, but I'm really glad that they weren't like hardcore partiers.
Yeah, I always like, there was a brief period where I was kind of meeting friends in Detroit who I had party parents, and I was like, damn, I wish my parents were like pontoon partiers or something.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, nah, actually, no. That sucks.
Yeah.
I really don't.
She's the mom who like made out with her son's friends, I'm guessing.
No, not interested.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I regret leaving that party when I always have fun. Like, what I love about parties are awesome. Parties are really fun always, and even like this, like the whiniest and cheesiest party always gets fun at night anyhow.
Yeah.
But that sounds like it went like an extra level.
Yeah, that.
And also when everybody can just like all band together and be like, this person's the dumbest person I've ever met.
That was the weird thing. So when those 2 people finally left, we all bonded over like, what the fuck just happened? And like everybody who was still left at the party immediately became a lot closer.
I really wonder if they ever acknowledged that. Like, was there like an apology call or?
So from what I could tell, the person who hosted this party has had to deal with this before, because she knew the routine where she was like, yeah, they come over sometimes during parties and it always kind of gets like this. And,
wow.
But also like our friend Georgia is like, she's a Southern woman who just has that Southern ability to be direct that we don't have, where she like at a certain point saw they were drunk and she's like, okay, you're going to leave. It's time to go. Okay. And then the husband was like, he saw his wife leaving, and then he was like, okay, well, just like, don't turn the alarm on because I'm going to party a little bit longer. And then George was like, no, you're not. You're going to leave with your wife. Goodbye.
Jeez. Oh my God. Yeah, that's one thing I need to like. I am learning about Latin American people actually is they're like a lot more direct.
Yeah.
And like there's the imperative form of like
Yeah.
of Spanish language is like a direct thing that is not like angry.
Yeah.
But even though it sounds extremely angry.
Yeah.
And it would be really helpful and healthy
Yeah.
for me to learn that.
Yeah.
But also, we're story guys, man.
Yeah.
I want to entertain this drunk person. Like, even though if it's miserable for an hour and a half,
Yeah.
it's funny later.
I'm just going to laugh and laugh and laugh and then just watch you drunk drive home.
So they did drive.
No. I think they lived like literally next door. But I
Yeah.
think she was trying to get in her car to drive to a liquor store. Which thank God she didn't do.
But Jesus. It does. When I briefly worked at a bougie beer and wine store, it made me realize that like any time of any day, half the people on the road are drunk.
Yeah.
Like that store opened at 11 o'clock and people would be like coming to get their lunchtime beers
Oh, my
and
God.
like cracking it in the store, walking out to their car and drinking it while they drove. Like,
Oh my God.
and it was just a steady flow of people all day long doing that.
Man.
Yeah. It definitely made me realize like
You could do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was on my birthday I was like, or at my birthday party I was like, damn, I just overdid it. Like I went to my car, I was filling my car up with stuff and I was like, ugh, there's just no way. I cannot do it. I have to call a car. And I was fucking furious
Duh.
because it was like $30.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, so that night of the party, we couldn't drive home, but fortunately our Gen X friend was sober enough.
That's
that
the
he took-
move.
Yeah.
It's always the move. You got to get the Gen Xers to take you
Yeah,
out.
those are the DDs.
Yeah. Gen Xers do a good job.
Gen Xers, they get it done.
They get it done. Well, I think this might be the last one for the year.
Yeah.
I think we would be scheduled to do another one, but we'll see if we actually can because I'll be leaving town.
This is probably going to be the last one for the year. Next time, we're finally going to have a guest again. I don't know who it's going to be, but
Yeah.
we just haven't had a... Well, we had a guest not that long ago.
Yeah, we
but
had Alex on, but
Yeah.
we'll have another guest soon. Yeah. For sure. And yeah, I mean, we let's see, what do we have going on?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, I
Nothing
know.
really, but how about we just promote the podcast itself?
Yes.
I always say it's fucking 2023. I don't know, just however you can. Shout out to Scott Huntsman for being our Spotify #1 listener in the world.
That's incredible.
And tell other people, write reviews. Like we've said before, have AI fucking have, I don't know, Smarter Child write the review. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/loose lips.
/loose lips.
Just join.
There's a bonus episode. Definitely start listening on Spotify. You
Yeah.
know, maybe that's the move. I
We
always
might get
said,
paid $0.01 per stream.
yeah, I always said Apple Podcast, but maybe Spotify's the better one. now.
Dude, so I had a fucking, man, just to complain about podcasts. I used to have this one pod player for my phone that was called Beyond Pod. Then one day it just stopped working.
Yes.
So then I switched over to Google Podcasts, had to re-download all my podcasts. And then I got a fucking, that worked mostly. And then I got a fucking message that, just like yesterday, that said, oh, Google Podcasts is disappearing, so find a new way. You have to download YouTube Music now.
That's
Fuck you.
That's what happened to me. I did. Oh, you know what? We should put our podcast on YouTube next year.
Oh, yeah, just like full episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
That's actually like the move. I was listening to a podcast about podcasts,
Okay.
and that was kind of like the new wave.
Just put a full
Put
episode
the full
on?
episode.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's doing video podcasts, but I don't.
I'm cool with this napping. We
Yeah.
briefly flirted with it, and the more I think about it, I'm like, no, I want to keep this audio only.
Yeah.
Sadly, what's his name? The strike guy, Zasler.
David Zaslav.
Zaslav. Dude, I feel really bad because he can't even see the new Indiana Jones because that pornographic Fleabag actress is
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
in
The
it.
poor-
Rated X
the
stuff.
poor guy.
She shows her butthole, I'm guessing.
Indiana Jones whips her butthole. That's how they start their sex play. As she comes out like he's like, "Honey, have you seen my whip?" You're like, "Wait, you've got a tail."
That'd be a trailer moment. Apparently, also that Fleabag woman was like had one of those like sweetheart deals where like they were like, "We'll just pay you $20 million a year to have you around, and maybe we'll use you." And she was getting that like this is the first project that's come of it in like 5 years or something.
That's so fucking those deals, and that is. Those deals were mostly negated from the strike. Like that was the big thing with the strike is like it was always going to last over 90 days because then you could negate those deals. But when those started dropping and I started hearing about these things, I was like, what an insane time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
They were just paying people to do nothing. Like, I mean, the fucking Harry and I can't remember the woman's name that he married, the former
Sally.
prince or whatever. Harry Salad?
Harry met Sally, but
Oh, Sally. Dude,
oh, Megan, what's her name? Megan.
Man, holy shit. I might have just turned 70. Harry Salad?
That's the name of the episode. Harry Salad. Fuck you.
Man, happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah. And see you in the new year. Get fucked.
They're Manodicks with opinions. Now let's end the show.